Hi, sorry about the strange angle. I'm just trying to center the iPad so it's I don't have to hold it. I'll start by just filling you in where I am. I can't believe I'm making a live stream now. My mind isn't in any way here, or really what aspects of it are here aren't at all understanding to reality, and I'm very, the word I describe myself with most is vulnerable. I'm vulnerable to life, and I just paint a picture for you where I am in my emotional, mental, physical state. And yeah, in that sort of mentality, I wouldn't choose to make a video. I'd want to sort out some problems first, have a direction forward, or I'd want to make sure that I hold the right tone in my voice to life and to you all as a collective humanity. But I can't because I'm so lost. And what the videos would give me in the immediate far out, well, use any at least I don't have the choice. I just have to go ahead with it, and fingers crossed it outweighs any egotistical and emotional aspects that I'd rather, that would hold me back from making these videos. Life has put me on a whirlwind over the past few weeks for reasons I don't know. And it keeps wanting to make me believe that I've died. Somehow on the past 4 days, it keeps wanting to tell me, Andreas, look, I'm going to show you some sort of surreal visual what would you call them, hallucinations, and within that I want to make sure I'm going to control your energy to make it extra real, add like a 4D effect over a normal flat screen that we have at the cinema, just to make sure that you really believe it. But I don't. It's happened to me before. I go through it, it puts me in these places and it makes me want to believe I die. And it's so traumatic, you half believe that, okay, maybe I have died. And somehow come back to life, but all the time I wake up and I'm in my physical body and life is still there asking me to carry on. So I haven't died. It's just some sort of very, very real, surreal, hallucinogenic experience where you believe you die. And it has implications. This, I know this is or I suspect this is a circumstance that we all go through. When life gets too much for us, we sort of die on some level so we can begin again. We let go of whatever we were holding on to that forced the pressure in us to kill us. And we start a new day. But no, I can't seem to do it on this occasion, where all the other times that's happened to me, I've been able. So it's been like 4 days consecutively, and I'm waking up today, and I put together a plan yesterday. I'm like, right, this is happening. What do I do about it? I have to live. I have pressures on me. I could be evicted any day. I keep saying that, and I don't know what the council are doing. It's the minimum deadline for court proceedings to begin. It has elapsed like weeks ago. So I'm just on. But I need to contact them, but I can't with my life at the moment. So it's a case of I really don't know where I stand. The council are messing me about, and I just have to be aware that it's a very real threat that I could be evicted any day, as much as what you'd expect down the pre-mandatories, the what's it called? Precursors haven't really been happening, so I don't know where I am, but because I can't address it, I have to take it in hand as to what I've been told thus far, and it really is I could be evicted any day, and that's the mentality I have to hold until I can summon the energy, time and space to chase it up and deal with it. So I put together a plan yesterday to address this madness of my life over the past few weeks, address this mixed upness where I keep getting left, because each time you do this, I come back from this experience, it's like everything's messed up in me, you know. It's like I'm disorientated. As I said in one of the recent videos, it's like I've just had a bomb explode next to me and my ears are ringing and I'm dazed, I'm in shock, I don't know what's going on. That's the sort of thing, and you have to go about your life getting it back together. I posted a very emotional video the other day about where I am in terms of medication and hospital, and it's very shameful video I found myself in to make that video. Very unpleasant to watch, very unpleasant to hear, and I leave it because it's absolutely true. Sometimes you need to be true with your emotions, and I said nothing wrong. It was all true to me. So what I'm experiencing in terms of my life, the pressures I have in terms of my life. So I leave it in hope that no, I just leave it. There's no hope for it. There's nothing that's really going to come from it. But I find myself in a place now where not sure quite how to proceed, because I've woken up today and where yesterday I was very wired because I hadn't slept. It was easy for me to make that plan in that place. But I come back to life a little bit today, and in all honesty, I'm well aware I can't go ahead, I can't proceed. The pressures in my life this time are still there. The pressures in my life haven't changed at all. And I don't really know what to do. Hence this video. I need to hear myself speak these words about my reality, my current circumstance, where I am. I speak to myself all the time. I've had this trait since I was a teenager. And I do this on a regular basis. I speak to myself, where are you, Andreas X? And it just helps center me. But I haven't really thought about what the dynamics of sharing with other individuals, about how that changes the mindset to the body, to energy, etc. For whatever reason, I couldn't. It's not the same to do it by myself today, so I had to pick up the live stream, the camera, to share it with the world. And I guess I'm just going to talk for a bit, and that is to say, why I just expressed about the dying and being born again, so to speak. I think that's kind of what a lot of the world experience. Being autistic, having a mental health disorder, and looking at the world from my place, not quite understanding it, seeing spirituality within me, within society, within you all. I see the possibility that this dying process is actually a common thing. Everyone experiences it. And every so often when, I don't know how the frequency for most people, but when life gets very difficult, you have a bereavement and you can't deal with the emotional stress against the rest of your life. We die, we go through this process of being reborn. So let me go off on a tangent which doesn't really help me in the immediate, but allows flow for communication and for anybody watching. It just might distract me in a minute enough to help to hear me talk sense. So I can, when I stop, I don't know, maybe I gain a perspective. I just got to do something, and that is to say, this process is a joke. It's a lie. This process of dying might as well be somebody on the other side, on the spiritual side, on the side that's not here in the real world, controlling your energy, controlling your mind on a visual level, having really control of all your faculties, because when you hit that place, you're very weak. It's all right. Sometimes you're stressed, so you got a lot of energy. It feels like you got a lot of energy, but in terms of control to life, that's not present. And that might be more valuable than anything. If you haven't got control over your faculties and you've got all the energy in the world, you're like a raging bull in a china shop, innit? Doesn't make sense to be like that. You might as well be a raging bull in a china shop when you're a human being. And that's not how to live life, is it? So you're out of control. So that anybody can really, theoretically, come in and take control of you. Some entity, he's had enough, he's maxed out his energy, and he's gone mad, he can't control it anymore. We'll take control, we'll put him through the process, make him believe he's dead, shuffle his life about a bit, so when he comes back, he's confused, dazed, he's just been through all this big confusing process of dying on this visual level that's more real than anything else he's ever experienced, because there's so much stress in his body, he's so weak, and the energy's there to be manipulated with. We can show him whatever we want. When we come back, we have to humble ourselves first, regardless of what we think. And if we can, we will carry on, because life was so painful beforehand. that essentially allowed us to go through this process and allows us to just, whether we believe it or not, to carry on. So whether I really did die or not, I don't know. And we have to allow that. We have to allow the carrying on part, because we are in pain ourselves first, isn't it? I'm talking about you all, when everybody goes through this place, this time, as I believe, from what I can see, looking in. But in essence, it's just nothing's happened. We're dependent upon life or some other entity to come in and take us through this process on an individual level so we can carry on. Where I find myself, my current circumstances, I'm not quite sure what to do. Because I'm aware of the pressure I'm under on a physical level and in terms of my life. That hasn't changed at all. If those two elements haven't changed, I'm still in the same place. That led me to the place where I was put through this process of dying. So I'm just trying to keep it very soft, very humble at the moment. Just listen to myself when I can tune in. But right now what I'm seeing is all avenues forward aren't it. So I need to change. I need to change myself. That's what the way forward. I need to change my mentality. I need to change my approach to life, because life isn't changing on the outside. What it is for about a year and a half now, 2 years, my approach to life is be as humble as possible and always try and do your best. And I'd already had all my years of development before that. So in my head, my sincerity to life, it's a case of there's not more I can do. All I can do is look at this as a individual experience and ask, what is this individual experience asking of me? Because I don't want problems in my life, so it makes sense to just always try and do your best. Be honest with yourself before you're accountable to anybody else. And really, if you've done the work to a certain extent, there are many ways you come back to that understanding that that's the way to be, that be accountable to yourself first before you're accountable to others. And there's no real difference if you do that, other than a little bit of personal power. And where I'm accountable to myself in my own world, really outside of society, but really affected by society, severely disabled by society. If not all my problems are as a result, I don't want to say all my problems, I've got a severe mental health disorder that's for me to deal with. Severe, life-crippling mental health disorder. But society are stopping my life because I can't do anything about my mental health disorder first. That's nature. I'm born with that. and where society presents its problems, it sort of maxed me out the other way. So I have to compartmentalize my mental health and say, look, if I'm 100% in terms of the amount of energy I've got, I can allocate 50% always to my mental health, and I have to be on top of that. I have to keep it in check. I have to hold it like a little child, and 50% of me is always for that. And the rest I have to manage as everybody else manages. The society is causing me not to be able to manage. In terms of society, I have to be responsible with my mental health, and I just expressed how I am, so I can function within it. Otherwise, I'd just be in nature. I'd be wild. I'd be totally mad. I'd scream all day long whenever. It'd be the most healing way to live, given my natural disease. It'd be terrifying, but it'd be the most healing. I'd create a heart piece of you know what? I don't want to swear. I'd hunt. I'd create a garden, and that'd be life, man. I've got enough problems in my head to start thinking about bloody Oyster cards and public transport. It's just like, it's insane. For what? I've got to go and get my food, man. What do you want me to think about travelling? What work? What's work? You got to work. We've got to be slaves. No, but you get money, but money doesn't exist. What are we doing? Society doesn't make sense. My heart craves nature, my body craves nature, my body craves nature, my mind craves nature, my emotions crave nature, my energy craves nature. I'm born into a world where to act in accordance with nature is illegal. I'm very, very heavily put upon by society, and this doesn't get into the real crux of the problems with society, but in the first instance I'm put upon. We are all put upon, if we're honest. But hey, this is the world. I've got to carry on. And what's really like the likelihood is I've got to start interacting with this other sickness. I've got one sickness in hand. It's always in hand. It has to be in hand. I don't have a choice. I'd be put through a living hell, which I've already been put through, if I wasn't responsible that way. And I just accept it, and that's my life that way. But this other sickness that's knocking on my door, making my life a living hell, society, and it's us all, and that's why I get pissed off at you, these live streams towards any viewers sometimes. It's because we are society, all of us. And you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, man. This is the sickness within the sickness. So I'm shouting at the sickness, but this is like the epitome of the sickness to a certain extent. So it comes across direct as well. Can you imagine being put through a process where you essentially experience dying and going to hell or heaven or wherever, then coming back to life? It changes you, yeah? You have to, it would have to change you, and you carry on in appropriateness and humbleness, because that's what that sort of experience does, whether it's real or not, to the level of realness within the experience. That's what I mean. It's more real than life almost, or as real. I don't believe it, but I appreciate the energy behind it. That whoever decided to do this must have really taken a lot of things into account, as this world does, to ever put me through that process. And that's what I mean. If I look at it on those sort of levels, it's very, very real. And I come back, and where that sort of process should humble me to accept in the first instance, and then humble me to change secondary after, or humble me to see new avenues. You know, when you're that humbled, you're crystal clear. You can see all your problems. You don't need energy to hold your problems. You're crystal clear to life. You see life. And it's like, oh, okay. Do you know what? I'm so weak. And I've been going in this direction here. And this direction here has just taken all my energy. If I'm going to continue, how am I going to continue down that way? Because this is too painful to experience again. And you can see clearly, you can see the little ways forward. Maybe because I'm at such a handicap in the first instance. Who knows? I don't know. But this time I'm here and I'm like, I'm in pain, I'm very weak, and I'm looking forward. And there are no answers. There's no acceptance to be done. There's no magic that's been created in terms of you know, I half said that and I was like, nah, I'm lying to myself, I'm lying to myself. And I just took a look again. And reality is that there are likely to be ways forward. But just by looking at life, looking at what's put me here, there shouldn't be. If things are coherent in terms of life, this is what I mean. There shouldn't be a way forward. But I know my life is so contradictory, surreal. Spirituality exists. Where there is no way forward, these elements should allow. So that's why I half said it in a lie. But in truth, those elements have always been here. And I'm here in the first instance. And I've been very humbled the way through, and I've always tried to do my best. So why am I here suffering like this in the first instance? So in truth, there's no way forward without more suffering. And I guess those are the words I needed to hear from this live stream. Nothing's going to change. I'm forever going to be in pain. I know what I have to do now as an attempt to move forward. And that's all I can do. This live stream has helped. Right, just what I can share is these live streams have taken a different toll. The way the interaction has happened over the past year and a half. The only way I can really begin to take more, as much as possible from these is I don't know, the past few videos I've been leaving questions there for anybody that views, the 1 and 2 viewers that I get for the videos. So the question is, this process of dying every so often, what happens if life comes in around you? And when you come out of that process, normally life is a bit more lighter and you carry on. In a new way until the next time. But what happens if life comes in all around you, and it stops you moving forward, and you're doing your best and you can't see a way forward, and it comes in all around you? And you have the realization that what I've just been through in terms of pain and suffering is it. It can get better. Life can get better, but right now, the pressures haven't changed, and pressures still create this pain and suffering. And where I had this delusional state before of dying, and I allowed myself to be set free. What happens if I can't set myself free? What happens if that right gets taken away from me? And essentially, we see how we are prisoners to life. And that on every element, every element of pain that put me there in the first place isn't changing. The pain is the pain. I was going to leave with a question, but my input would be, from my perspective, being in that position, nobody talks about this sort of stuff. So I'm going to claim it that I have the right to say, look at me as an example, because nobody else is standing there saying, this is what's going on. I'm going to have to use myself as a reference, and I'm going to have to say, if it hasn't happened to you already, what happens to the day when you're put in this place, when life comes in around you and you can't move forward? My thinking is just an acceptance of the pain in the first instance, and really, since the pain isn't going away, like, you have to change the way you live. If you cut yourself, if you ever cut yourself badly or banged your head or whatever, you can't just carry on with life as it was before. You have to change on an energetic, physical, emotional level, mental level. You have to adapt to that pain. So if I cut my arm, I'm going to be tense in the arm somewhat. That's what the body asks for. There are different ways to deal with pain. But however the pain's dealt with, the body's asked to change. And if it's painful, your mind's going to be going to the pain. You can't just leave the pain. And if it's really painful, it might change your breathing, so you're taking in more or less oxygen. And depending upon how the joints are with the blood flow, you might have to walk with a limp. So it's changing, it's putting a hindrance on the body all the way through. and it's taking energy from you. So you change. Body, the pain demands change. So that's all I can do, is change myself to accommodate myself as comfortable as possible within 4 walls, a ceiling and a floor of pain. The hardest thing is the oxygen, feeling like I've got no oxygen, and within that, but I have to adapt. I have to adapt, and I sort of know what I've got to do. So I sincerely thank anybody that's listening to these videos. I don't really care, if I'm honest. I know why I do them. I know one day someone might find value in these videos, since they're all on YouTube and they can be watched. But for now, I persist with the few views I get, and yeah, just thankful. Do you know what it is? I feel like I'm sharing something very, very valuable to the world. And I'm like, if people would listen to my message, to whatever is expressed, and truly take it on board, they would change for the better. Where I'm effed because I have a mental health disorder in the first instance. But you got to really listen, and that's why I get any sort of annoyance to low views. But hey, you've listened. Am I 100% stark raving mad, or just 99 and speaking 1% the truth?